Legend of Total War here with a quick update for the stainless steel 6.4 hot seat. I've been getting a few messages from people lately inquiring as to the progress of the hot seat, specifically asking when are we going to see episode 1. It's very difficult for me to predict when exactly an episode of a hot seat is going to come out because we're relying on so many people. But I can tell you it's going to be quite some time because we are still stuck on turn 1s. We haven't even gone through that yet. I've played my first turn as England, but I'll explain exactly what the roadblocks have been, the challenges that we've had to go through, so that you guys can hopefully be a little bit more understanding as to the time frame of this hot seat. I have found that having a 5-player hot seat or less is so much more ideal than 18 players. But obviously, if we can actually get this to work, it would be quite great. But at this stage, it's not working. All right, so the first issue that came up was that Warrior Sparta unfortunately had to drop out of the hot seat due to no fault of his own. A real life issue came up and he was unable to reliably commit to the hot seat. It was okay, he was playing as the Byzantine Empire. He hadn't done his first term, so it's okay. It just delayed us a little bit because then we had to do a bit of a player switcheroo because someone had to play as the Byzantine Empire. It's too big of an initial faction to leave it played by the AI, because what's going to happen if it was played by the AI, Turks, Hungary, they're just going to consume the entire Byzantine Empire and then they'll become unstoppable. So someone has to play as the Byzantine Empire. So what we did, like I said, it's a bit of a switch, because this also happened at the same time that the floods hit Louisiana. Now, Surreal Belief's turn, the Holy Roman Empire, which was initially assigned, was turn 5, and that happened at the exact same moment as Warrior Sparta dropping out and Surreal Beliefs being hit by floods. So it took us a few days to figure out exactly what to do here. We did a bit of a player switch. We put Gamersville in control of Holy Roman Empire so that he could get his turn done, and then we put Surreal Beliefs in charge of Byzantine Empire so that he has time to get his stuff together and that he'll still have pretty much the same sort of powered faction, just in a different location. And we thought that was just going to fix everything, which it didn't. So Holy Roman Empire's turn got done, a few more turns got done. Now we're stuck on Byzantine Empires. Now the problem that we're having now is that Surreal Beliefs is simply just not doing his turn. Now I don't even know if he knows it's his turn. I've sent him a few messages on Steam saying, it's your turn, could you please get your turn done? But the problem is I'm not getting anything back, no responses or anything. Now, just to put things in perspective, every player in this hot seat should be subscribed to the thread, so they're notified whenever anything happens. So Surreal, I made this very clear to everyone who was involved. It's part of the rules actually in the hot seat to be subscribed to the hot seat thread. So surely he must know that this is going on, that it's his turn. Every player is allocated 72 hours to do their turn. After that, we've got a credit system that comes into play. Now, the way the credit system works is that if you do your turn fast, you get days added to your credit. If you do your turn slow, as in if you take more than 72 hours, credit is taken away from you. If you run out of credit without doing your turn, you get kicked out of the hot seat, basically. So it's pretty merciless. But that being said, you get started off with a lot of credit. Everyone is assigned 5 days worth of credit to begin with, so that means your initial turn, you can take up to 8 days to do your turn. So to put things in perspective, it's now taken Surreal Beliefs 4 days, and we haven't seen his turn. So he's already dipped into his credit. And the thing is, the first turn really should be the quickest because there's not really a whole lot going on. There shouldn't be any situation where anyone is able to take another region from another player. I made sure of that. I made sure to check all the spy actions to make sure that nobody was able to take another person's settlement on turn 1, unless that person went first and then made a colossal mistake, like leaving their settlement undefended, something like that. Or leaving a draw out or forced draw out situation. Obviously, I can't control other players' inabilities, that kind of stuff. But yeah, so those are the problems that we're facing. So the future problem is that if Surreal Beliefs doesn't do his turn within 4 days, not only has that delayed us 8 days, but I have to kick him out of the hot seat. It's unfortunate, and I have to apply the rules equally to everyone. Just because you're a big hot seat, just because you're a big YouTuber, doesn't mean I can bend the rules for you. I hate to have to do this as well. Not necessarily I'm going to have to, but I hate the fact that this is possibly something I'm going to have to do. Now, if this does happen, we have our initial problem with a power vacuum as the Byzantine Empire. So then we're going to have to do another player shuffle because it's another player using maybe a smaller faction will have to be assigned to Byzantine Empire. Now, every time that we do a player shuffle, it changes the dynamic of the balance of the initial hot seat balance. I was very careful in regard to where I was placing everyone to make sure that the hot seat was balanced. Basically, to make sure that nobody gets wiped out in 1, 2, or 3 turns. That everyone should be alive for at least a couple of turns. I put all the strongest players in isolated positions with medium to weak factions, and I put the weakest or inexperienced players in strong positions or in areas where they've got a lot of room for expansion, where they won't be bothered by very powerful players like Egyptian Viking or Coda or something like that. So I'm very careful to maintain that balance. If we lose that balance at any point, I'm going to cancel the hot seat because it's not worth doing. That's where I am at with this. So far, I've had to put in a lot of effort to maintain, to administrate this hot seat, and it's really a pain in the ass. So that's where we're at the moment. I would be so appreciative to Surreal Beliefs if he could just get his turn done, or even if he could just let us know if he doesn't want to do the hot seat anymore. I totally understand if he's got other things where he just doesn't care about his hot seat. I understand to a small extent, and to a large extent. I don't even want to play in this hot seat anymore. So I think my enthusiasm is going to drop off very quickly. I might even commit faction suicide and make some intentionally stupid decisions just so I don't have to play in this fucking hot seat anymore. That's my mentality at the moment. I might change my mind as I go, but these hot seats just drain everything out of me. It's so much easier just playing single player these days. Anyway, that's what we're up to at the moment. I hope you guys can appreciate the situation and understand that it's difficult. I'm doing everything that I can to make people do things, but when people don't respond or they just don't do anything, it can get a bit difficult, and then I need to make difficult administration decisions and start penalizing people or kicking them out, all that kind of stuff. But rest assured, things are still going ahead. You will eventually see turn 1, and if the hot seat does get cancelled, I will let you know. Anyway, hope that answers some of your questions, and hopefully we can get moving before too long. And I'll see you next time, fuckers.